Give us a flavor for what he was fighting back against. What preceded him taking on the crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he got up to the podium, he started to give a speech, and no one could hear it, right? I mean, we had him mic'd, and it didn't matter. He was trying to get through this, just try to get onto his speech about cryptocurrency and guns, and there was just this din, and people sort of yelling things at him. Before that, he'd come in the hallway, and people were yelling particularly vile things about, rape of various of his family members, about, I don't know if you can see that, if your viewers can see that sign. Certainly listeners can't, but there's a sign, Kyle Duncan can't find a female sex organ. And so there are these very sort of crude and sick catcalls being thrown at him, unfounded slanders about how he supposedly erased the rights of various groups. It was just bedlam and really impossible.
This is a close-up. This is a close-up of the disgusting sign. Yeah. Okay, so he decided not to just roll over. He decided to take them on, and it's exactly right. And I look forward to seeing a repeat of that when any one of these young lawyers, aspiring lawyers, appears in Judge Duncan's court. That will bring this full circle. When one of these morons actually has to argue before the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, the tables are turned, and he's in charge of their client's future. This is one of the many reasons why you don't disrespect a federal court judge. It's just stupid. Okay, so he took them on. They battled. And you must have been very frustrated watching this. I mean, was it annoying for you who just wanted to hear the guy?
Well, I think it was more upsetting in that, we invited a federal judge here and we want to be welcoming hosts to him. And instead, we subject him to sort of this utter contempt and this horrible, crazy mob. And I just feel really guilty for what happened. And I'm very sorry to the judge. And, you'll see that Stanford's president and dean, after this went viral online, I would add, decided to issue an apology. But that's an important first step. I don't think has made it right.
No, exactly right. There's a real question about how this was allowed to happen, and you shouldn't feel guilty at all. You tried to do the right thing. You did not do the wrong thing. Your colleagues did. These other kids, young people. All right, so he gets to the point where he says, can I speak with an administrator? Can I, understanding that the policy at this school, like most, is you're not allowed to disrupt. I mean, that's the U.S. Supreme Court law, that schools can discipline free speech when it's disruptive at the educational level. He wants to speak with somebody who can stop the disruption. Enter Tyrion Steinbach, who's the head of DEI at Stanford Law, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, which is constantly a hammer in search of a nail. I mean, they will find some sort of diversity problem, whether it exists or not. That's what she's employed to do. And instead of getting up there and saying, put down your sign that suggests this judge can't find a woman's clitoris, forgive me, audience, that's what the sign said, she encourages them. She seems to be applauding them. And she then piles on the judge while making it all about herself at the same time and how uncomfortable she feels and having to do this to this villain. But, he put her in this position. So here we go. Here is a little from Tyrion Steinbach.
I had to write something down because I'm so uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable because this event is tearing at the fabric of this community that I care about and I'm here to support. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is this worth it? Your advocacy, your opinions from the bench land as absolute disenfranchisement of their rights and does land. It's uncomfortable to say that for many people here, your work has caused harm. In my role at this university, my job is to create a space of belonging for all people in this institution. And it doesn't feel comfortable and it doesn't always feel safe, but there are always places of safety. I'm also uncomfortable because it is my job to say, you are invited into this space. You are absolutely welcome in this space. We believe that the way to address speech that feels abhorrent, that feels harmful, that literally denies the humanity of people, that one way to do that is with more speech and not less, and not to shut you down or censor you or censor the student group that invited you here. That is hard, that is uncomfortable. I hope you can learn too while you're in this learning institution. I hope you can look to the spectacle of and the noise to the people holding these signs. They are here because they feel harmed, not just by your speech. If it was just words, that would be one thing. You have authority. You all chose to be here today. Many people go before Judge Duncan who do not necessarily choose to be there. And they have to listen to everything he says. You have a choice. You do not need to stay here if this is not where you want to be.
And then half the students walked out. I mean, Tim, it's got all the DEI buzzwords and behavior. First of all, the woman wrote it down. So this is planned. She was looking forward to her little moment hijacking your event, your dean of DEI. She's uncomfortable. All about her. How does she feel? How does Tim feel? How does the Federalist Society feel? How does the judge feel? She didn't care. The clicking, literally when I was in my college sorority at age 17, 18, that's when we used to click. We used to snap like that instead of clap. Juvenile, pathetic way of showing your support. Disenfranchised, of course, she blames the judge and all of his rulings of disenfranchising people, but he pointed out in his rebuttal, what about the people you're disenfranchising by not letting me speak? And if I heard that phrase one more time, Tim, she said it at least 4 times, is the juice worth the squeeze? You're allowed to be here. You were invited here. But what you need to ask yourself as you address this group to which you've done harm is whether the juice is worth the squeeze. So how did you feel when you listened to this woman hijack your event?
I think we felt pretty set up, and it rings hollow because we had 15, 20 minutes of bedlam where the judge wasn't able to get anything out. Then we have this 7-minute pre-prepared speech on DEI and on, people being uncomfortable. And then and only then, now this is an hour-long event, so now we're about halfway through it. Then and only then is there some modicum of order where the judge can speak. So, if that's what we're going to call free speech now, I think it's sort of over. I think, though, it's important to realize this isn't about one dean. This isn't about Stanford. This is just about sort of the insanity that's at universities now. And it got caught on tape, right? Some things that are normally said in the shadows were said out loud at the podium on tape during the Federalist Society event. But this is the attitude. If you're a DEI dean, you may be a fine person. We've had fine conversations with Tyrion in the past, but your primary customer is the craziest, loudest, most nuts student. And so, you're responding to that incentive, and that means doing whatever this was.
The hubris of this woman to look at Judge Duncan and tell him he needs to learn while he's in that room. From her, she never sat on a federal court of appeal. She's never been a judge. No one in that school has even passed the bar exam sitting in front of him that day. The audacity to say that to a sitting judge was stunning, even to me, Tim.
Well, I'm really disappointed to hear that, but we'd love to have you at Stanford if you'd like to have the full experience.
I'll go. And I expect I would be treated with more respect because I guess I've said some things in the past or done some things in the past that these folks would approve of, but I have no desire for their good approval. I have no desire for just like Judge Duncan, to be in their company. And I think more judges need to do what we've seen a couple of judges do and say, we will not be recruiting anyone from these law schools outside of the Federalist Society. We won't be recruiting anybody who doesn't stand up for principles of free speech. Sherry from Omaha, Nebraska has this to say about Genucel. I have sensitive skin and I am careful about all products. Then my husband bought me Genucel's immediate effects product and Genucel deep firming serum. Felt it working immediately. Eyes look amazing, face feels smooth, and it diminished the appearance of wrinkles. So impressed, and thanks to Genucel and my husband, I take Genucel everywhere. It's not just Sherry. As you know, Genucel has sold over 1 million products to women and men across this great country of ours. Say goodbye to fine lines, wrinkles, and even those annoying under-eye bags and puffiness from years of endless Zoom calls. And look 5, 10, even 15 years younger, just in time for the warmer weather. Best of all, guaranteed results in as little as 12 hours or your money back. Go to Genucel.com to see for yourself with 70% off their most popular package right now. All their best stuff, including the classic under-eye bags and puffiness treatment. Free shipping and luxury beauty box containing 2 free gifts with every subscription. Go to Genucel.com/MK60. GENUCEL.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.